Is this the bounce? Is this the bounce that everyone's waiting for? Well, that is the topic of today's video as we do discuss a few of the underlying signals that could be playing into that and what to kind of expect from that. And obviously the most important areas to be aware of for today, as well as some other statistics. So other than that, I want to welcome you back to the Krown Crypto channel. We're back, baby. With not new price action, though. The exact same as what we saw before. But we're back in the good old battle station. And I suspect that we should make this one nice and painless. I believe that Jackson's hole is going to be spoken about maybe later today. So perhaps we get a bit of market volatility based off that. But let's just jump right into the content of the day. And first things first, starting off here on the daily for Bitcoin. Yes, Bitcoin is getting a nice little bounce-ola. I mean, you can see like what sort of nasty price action we've been reduced to where, a $400 bounce on Bitcoin is, it's a bounce, baby. Holy shit, it's going to the moon. But in this case right here, the daily jewel is actually starting to suggest a few things. In fact, not only is it going to be turning white or has already turned white as of yesterday, but it's also going to be flashing this green in the background here, which is similar to kind of a God mode signal from a very, 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 very low level. These don't happen all that often where you see white plus the green background. In fact, I'll show you the last couple times that this did happen. This was back on over here in May and June of this year. Of last year. And these did essentially signal the end of that current downside move. So that would be this move over here. Obviously, it started to turn green actually literally on the low. Yeah, literally on the low right there. And from that low to the next high, how much of a move was that? About 24% on a wick basis. On a closing basis, that would be about not as impressive, about 9.5 to 10%. The next one over here obviously was another major low coming in June of last year, 2022. Again, getting pretty much the low of that move before a nice sideways and upside rally. In this case, from a wick basis, about a 41% move, overall. So pretty significant there. On a closing basis, about 30.25% move. So not bad as well. Other than that, again, signaling off the end of this dump-ola party here in January of last year. This one did also put in a pretty impressive move to the upside over the course of the next few months, almost 40% on a wick basis, and actually going to be pretty damn close there, pretty damn similar there on a closing basis as well. Anyways, to get the next major signal that we did see from that, we'd actually have to go all the way back to March of 2020. That was the old Rona dump, of course, but I think you kind of get the point. So even within the context of very, 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 very heavy downside trending moves, this has been a pretty consistent setup for at least a bit of a bounce on the lower end, about 10%, on the upper end, significantly more. So thus far, to put things into context from when this started to fire off right here, we've seen a very impressive 2.25% move. So, just based off of that, would I say that things, try a little bit higher over time? Yeah, probably yes. But what's a lot more important about this current price action is that on the 2-day time frame for CME, and this is actually consistent on a lot of the higher term time frames as well, there is going to be potential, if Bitcoin continues on with this bounce, to print and confirm hidden bullish divergence between this low right here, this low right here, and this potential low that Bitcoin's seeing right here, all higher lows as they are right now, correlating with lower lows on the 2-day time frame RSI, of course on what's it called, on CME. Significantly lower lows on our side right here, I should say. Again, this area right here, obviously significantly lower than the prior, than those prior to in June and in March, respectively. Anyways, how would it start to confirm that hidden bullish divergence? Well, first things first, it needed to first confirm a nice local low, and then we can compare. And how would we confirm a local low in this case? I do think that the moving average in this particular instance does get things rather well. The 200 simple at 26,874 on CME. If Bitcoin can start to close above that on a 2-day time frame, probably even on a daily as well, then yes, I'd be looking for a nice rally up, at least to fill the gap at 27,800. Keep in mind, there's a slight premium on CME over spot price action, but yeah, somewhere around there would be fair game. And And then, of course, wherever the 21 is at that point as well is also an area of interest if it is going to continue from there, which is currently at 28,500. Obviously, that's what, it first depends that Bitcoin actually close above this region. And then, we can start to really, judge that. But for right now, it's in the cards. And that is what's potentially staring us in the face, again, if that condition is met. So yes, we've got that. We've got that pretty simple right there. I think also this would be good to match up with the short-term time frame HPDRs on the 4-hour time frame here. And what do you know? Bitcoin getting rejected right at the average of the current range. That's 26,700. After bouncing off the low side of the range at about 26,000 bucks, and the current range low is still 26 or just under 26, I should say, versus the current range high in the 4-hour, which is 27,400 or so, just below 27,400 in this case. So if I am looking at a 4-hour time frame, what would be the earliest area that I'd start to really consider a breakout relative to the short-term time frames, but could very easily carry on into those higher-term time frames, thus confirming that 2-day time frame potential hidden bullish evidence. Well, putting the puzzle piece together, I would be looking at this area right here, about 26,800, even above the average of the range, which would probably do it as well. It's just slightly less than $100 less than that exact pivot. But if we start to see above there, then yes, I'd be looking for Bitcoin to very likely put in a rally somewhere into the mid, maybe low $27,000 territory, and then come back to it after that. Again, this rally coming off of extreme levels of volatility, so this is a bit in this case of a of mean reversion play, and that also does imply that if Bitcoin does start to see back down below the $26,000 region right here, I'd be looking at this as a complete trap is not the right word. You can't really trap people in a downtrend with that because you're still fucking in profit, right? But it would be indicative of me that Bitcoin is gonna very likely put another dump Ola party and retest the low somewhere into the low $25,000 territory at about I think our wick low thus far is like 25.3 or so, which actually did bounce off the bottom side of the HPDR right there as well. So nice. Anyways, yes. So. Okay, so we've got those together. You can see where the major pivots are as of right now. Let's go ahead and check out stochastic momentum and just see what's going on over here. Getting some more alerts in the background. That's great. Bot, do your work. Although I actually do not have my bot connected right now just because things have been so lackluster. It's like good fucking luck, man. Better to trade other markets actually as of this moment. But again, just a quick reminder: higher term timeframes are still showing relatively high, relatively strong downside momentum as long as Bitcoin is on the weekly below 30,100. 5-day time frame, which just closed last night, I believe. Yes, indeed it did. Is going to be showing downside pressure as long as Bitcoin's below 29,420. As we outlined, maybe it wasn't yesterday, but the day before that, there is this trend line regression coming in from the last few major lows, going all the way back to July of last year, connected with October lows, which was like the low thus far, basically, and then December lows. The December lows were pretty much the low, and the October lows were were before that nice rally attempt. And then of course we do have the June lows over here. So does it come all the way down here? Maybe two more ticks, and then turn around. If that happens, that'd be a damn good indication that hey, Bitcoin is going to put in a very nice rally, not just not just into the like mid 27,000 territory, but probably back around the current highs at 32,000 bucks. So if you start to see something like that, which is why I still maintain my overall position that, hey, the more that Bitcoin goes sideways here without really cracking down below those, the current low, the more and more like this we'll have a bullish reset. And well, as of right now, Bitcoin put in a rally certainly is not going lower. So that would be at least a good indication as of this current period that still Bitcoin does have that potential, in order. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that if bears are going to still maintain control, then we really expect it to happen in no more than 10 days. And I would even say the next 5 days is starting to be more relevant right here. So do keep that in mind. So it is a bit of a ticking time bomb, as we have been going over on this channel. The more that Bitcoin goes sideways here, the more and more this is going to naturally look like a bit of a bear trap. But for right now, still within this next 5-day period, maybe in as much as a 10-day period, it would technically favor the bear-os. 2-day time frame is going to also still be headed to the downside as long as Bitcoin's below 27,450. Again, another important one right here, as it does get into the extreme critical region for the bearish control zone. Again, that does imply that it will be kind of difficult to keep momentum up that high, or in this case, this low. But we're going to get another closure tonight, so we'll see where that pivot moves into tomorrow. If that becomes a lot more closer to price action or even under price action, there'd be another sort of piece of the puzzle, like the next piece of the puzzle saying, hey, this is starting to look a lot more likely like Bitcoin is going to trade sideways and up from here. But still remains to be seen. And, it's a long 16 hours, 50 minutes and 42 seconds. Daily time frame is going to be showing upside from a very, very low level here as well. As long as Bitcoin is above $26,000. So in the very, very near term, that's going to be an important area to be aware of. 12-hour time frame is going to probably be up as well. Indeed, it is, as long as Bitcoin's above 25,650. 6-hour time frame is also going to be up as long as Bitcoin's above 26,400, which is barely above right now, to be fair. 4-hour time frame is going to also be up, actually, as long as Bitcoin's above 26,350, and hourly is going to be showing downside below 26,550. So what does that align with? Actually, probably one more try to the upside in the short term. The question is, does Bitcoin actually reclaim, let's say 26,800? If it does, I'm looking for a move probably into the, at least shallow 27s, probably mid 27s. And at that point, how's it going to influence the daily? How's it going to influence the 2-day? How's it going to influence the 5-day? Well, with these critical closures coming up relatively soon, that's going to start to look a lot more and more like, this is trying to put in a low right here. So as you've probably seen over the past, I guess we got into this region, last Friday, the 18th. So it's been about a week now. We said, hey, after the first couple of days of no continuation, the first couple of days we're like, hey, if bears want to take over, this is the time. This is the time right fucking here. But the longer that this goes on, the more and more like this is going to at least have a nice bounce and maybe even a bear trap. So I'd still give it, until that 5-day period. But so far so good. So I would kind of keep open the hoping for the boolas in that case. And I think that's probably a good place for me to be leaving off on this video. Yeah, there we go. That's a nice area. Yeah. We'll leave it right there. I'm going to sign off on that note. I do want to say a massive thank you for all of the community participation in the Twitter post yesterday, as we did, as we're looking for opponents for Crypto Fight Night in November. Really, really exciting stuff. We even got Alex Becker to respawn, which is amazing, but unfortunately, he does not train boxing and he is unwilling to do so. So fair enough. I understand. I understand his sort of motivations there. All good. Well, of course, it's all good, but we need to find someone, baby. We need to find someone. And so if you have suggestions, just go on that Twitter post and tag them so that we can get some community involvement and maybe their interest. And then, we'll see what happens from there. Anyways, other than that, I want to wish you the best as always. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully Friday.